Questions are still lingering tonight in the mysterious death of 22-year-old college student Riley Strain. And while the toxicology results and a final autopsy report conducted by the Nashville Medical Examiner are still pending, it seems like the investigation is pretty much shut and closed, as the Nashville Police Department is now stating that preliminary reports show no apparent signs of foul play. This is an explanation that his family is just not satisfied with, because the parents have now ordered a second autopsy in an effort to get as many answers as possible on what exactly happened to their son. Now, what we do know for sure at this time is that the University of Missouri senior was kicked out of a Nashville bar the night of his disappearance. Now, surveillance of Riley that night shows him running headfirst into a pole and later holding his head just minutes before a short exchange with a police officer. His body was found in a nearby river around 8 miles from where he was last seen alive, 2 weeks after his initial disappearance. And what has many questioning the details surrounding his death is the various items that were missing from him when he was discovered. Jeans and cowboy boots were both somehow missing from his body, his wallet too, which was found earlier in the week. Now, a friend of the family, Chris Dingman, joined Brian Enton last night to discuss this.
One thing that threw the family for a loop was, the coroner going on record with a news person in Nashville stating about the lack of water in his lungs. It raises more questions. I'm not a crime drama person by no means, but usually water in the lungs means that, they were alive when they went into the water. Unfortunately, the only thing that was found with him, as the police stated in the report, was the watch and the shirt. Everything else was not with him when he was found.
That report that Dingman is talking about states that it is unclear whether or not there was water present in his lungs.
Metro Police Chief John Drake said that there appears to be no evidence of foul play, and it looks to be a horrible accident. We don't yet know if water was found in Strain's lungs. Some suggest if none is found, that Strain was dead before he went into the river. But the medical examiner tells me that is not definitive. A person struggling to breathe underwater can have a throat spasm that shuts off your airway. When that happens, no water goes into your lungs, and it's known as dry drowning.
Of course, the final toxicology reports will give us more insight into his blood alcohol level and if any drugs were present in his system the night he disappeared. But clearly, there's so many questions that remain. Joining us right now, my good friend Joseph Scott Morgan. He's a forensic death analyst who is one of the leading experts on the coroner system in the United States. You can also check out his Body Bags podcast, too. Joseph, so good to see you. What are they looking to find in a second autopsy? Is that necessary?
Yeah, it is necessary in this case, Jesse. I would strongly urge the family to pursue this because they need an advocate, a medical legal advocate that is going to look at Raleigh's case very, very carefully. I think that this is very important. I'm glad that they've gone ahead and taken that step. And also, keep in mind, I'm not going to get too terribly gruesome here, but forgive me. His body has already been previously examined by the ME in Nashville. So the body will not be in pristine state when the private pathologist receives the body. So that's an extra hill that they have to climb. I just hope that they're cooperative with all of the tissue samples that they need, because tissue samples are going to be very important in this.
Well, I gotta explain to me, aside from the autopsy, missing shoes, pants, the wallet, he was found with his shirt and Apple Watch. Does that seem strange to you?
Yeah, it kind of does. Not so much the shoes, and when we say shoes, let's be specific. What I'm hearing is that these are actually slip-on cowboy boots in a river such as the Cumberland. And I don't know that people have been to Nashville, or maybe my hometown in New Orleans where the Mississippi flows through. You can't appreciate how swiftly that water is moving. I mean, it is clipping along. If a body is floating out there, you can imagine those boots filling up, and they'll be swept away many times. He's been in the water for a protracted period of time. It is troubling to me that the pants were missing. I'm curious if he had a belt with him as well. And remember, just as you said, the wallet was found elsewhere. I think that that's a curious thing. And there were homeless people around that area. I want to know, how thoroughly were they questioned? Did the street crimes unit that deals with the homeless population come in and talk to them individually and canvass that population?
I remember we spoke with Evan Lambert last week and said that one of the rumors that was circulating around the homeless population was inaccurate. So you're dealing with that as well, perhaps unreliable witnesses. Joseph Scott Morgan, thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.